We now live in a world where straight men are being called fragile for not wanting to be romantically involved with gay men.
Weird.
I don't even know why these things surprise me anymore, but honestly, they still do. So a member of the LGBTQ community who identifies as a femme-presenting gay man went viral a few days ago on TikTok after attempting to emasculate a straight man who tried to date him by mistake. Now you will understand why I said he tried to date him by mistake. So this straight man thought that this guy was a woman because obviously, as you can see in the video, he looks like a woman, talks like a woman, dresses like a woman, all that things. Now the two of them met at a club, got talking and exchanged numbers and continued the conversation via text messages and maybe calls. And obviously their vibes clicked and they decided to go on their first date. But their budding romance went up in flames after the straight man, who already had suspicions, asked his potential partner if he's a man or a woman. And when he got an answer affirming his suspicions, he dumped the gay guy. And this gay guy came to TikTok offended.
Just had a man pick me up for a date. He asked me if I was a man in the car. I said yes. This man turns around and takes me back home. Now, this is a very prime example of somewhat fragile masculinity, but also dishonesty. Not on my end, but on the end of the suitor. I met him last Friday at a club when I was out with my girlfriends. At some point, we duck off, we're talking, we're chatting, we're dancing, we're like really having a good time. We're throwing banter back and forth, we're being flirty, all these things. Mind you, I am flat-chested as fuck. I am not a woman. I'm just a very beautiful man. Proceeds to kiss me, XYZ, right? Has been texting me every day since last Friday when I gave him my number. He proceeds to tell me in the car, I don't really know how to ask this, or, I really just don't know how to bring this up, but are you a man? And I looked at him and I was like, yes, I am. I'm just a very feminine man. He pulls over and he's like, I just want to sit over and just like kind of talk about this for a second. I've never been in this position before, so I'm just like not really sure how to handle it. I had an inkling of a thought, but I didn't want to ask you and you be offended if you were not. However, it's just not something that I'm into particularly. And I think that's part of a bigger conversation as it relates to Black men being interested in just feminine energy, period. He proceeded to apologize and he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just felt like I needed to get this off my chest and at least just ask. But if I'm being honest, I was just like, okay, yeah, that's fine. No harm, no foul. It's all good. He's like, is it okay if I just, turn around and take you back home? I'm like, absolutely. Yes, please. We sat there in silence as he did a U-turn and literally dropped me back off. But it goes to show that sexuality truly is a spectrum. And while people may not be into whatever parts people have or whatever the case may be, people are just attracted to energy, period. Which is okay. That's totally fine. I completely respect that. I'm not one of those gays that are like, I'm going to go get the trade and do this, that, and the third. That's really not my vibe. And if you are, pop off queen, do your big one. But I guess my biggest problem is if you had an inkling of a thought or you felt any type of way, you should have quite literally just asked and been honest from the very beginning. Here, I spent an hour and a half getting ready for a date, not really into it, but I was open to, just seeing what happens, what would, transpire out of the whole situation. And yet, here we are. Now, this is a first for me. I've never had this happen to me before. This is something new to me. I'm not humbled in the slightest because I'm a bad bitch. Look at me. Hello. And I know this is not in vain. I know that God has a partner for me out in the world, wherever he may be. But that shit was crazy as fuck. And for my theys, my girls, my dolls out there in the world, y'all be safe out there. Truly just be safe. Because for a slight moment in time, I was actually kind of scared for a minute. But yeah, y'all, I don't know. Am I tripping? Y'all let me know what y'all think, because I've quite literally never experienced anything like this before. Oh my God, I'm kind of floored. But anyway, on to the next, babes. That's fine. To Mr. Sir, good luck to you. And yeah, I don't know, y'all. It's just so funny. I'm like literally just sitting here in silence, like, oh my God, like I need to like talk to someone about this. But anyway, okay. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I don't know.
Nowhere in this video is this guy taking accountability for his own mistakes in his conversations with this man. He did not tell this man that he is a man, but he expected him to know because he's flat-chested. But come on now. There are a lot of women who are flat-chested. You cannot use that as a factor to determine how a woman should look. And by the way, in this social climate that we are in right now, where people get cancelled or called out for the littlest things, like assuming a person's gender based on how they look, I can understand the fear of this straight man to not want to attach the wrong gender to this person and get called out for it. And this gay guy, who by the way goes by the name Donnie on TikTok, which is a feminine name, is making an argument for sexuality being a spectrum and how his encounter with this man shows that people are just attracted to energy. Therefore, the man was attracted to his feminine energy. On the contrary, I think Donnie's encounter with this man proves the opposite, the exact opposite, that feminine energy is not just enough to get into a relationship or to have something romantic to do with a straight person or anybody at all. Because I mean, this man thought that Donnie was a female and that's why he entertained the feminine energy that he was giving off. At the moment he realized that the DNA required to back up that energy was missing, he respectfully took him back home and ended things. And people were pointing this out to him in his comment section, telling him that he should have made it clear to this man that he is gay. But then when a person chooses to be delusional, there's nothing you can do to make them see reason. And he proved that in his response video.
Okay, first and foremost, I did not expect all of this discourse in my comment section. I didn't. But now that I have y'all here and I'm not as emotional or shaken up, let's clear some things up here, okay? Number one, a lot of people have been like, you should just be grateful that you got home safely. I am very much grateful that I got home safely. I'm very grateful for that, okay? Number two, I get a lot of comments like this. You should have told him ahead of time. Now, with that, here's the thing. While, you know, we could be out at the club, it was dark, whatever, even outside when my friends and I got into our Uber, he pulled me over to the side and was like kissing me and introducing himself to my friends and this, that, and the third. So I just didn't feel the need to be like, oh, by the way, hi, I'm Donnie, I'm a man. No one's gonna do that. Y'all don't go up to people and be like, oh my God, hi, my name is Shaquila and I'm a woman. Like, be fucking for real. Like, be serious, okay? All in all, I'm not saying that he handled the situation badly. My biggest qualm with all of this is that we had been texting for a week. When he mentioned in the car that he had an inkling, he said, I had an inkling probably a few days ago. However, I just didn't know how to bring it up and not be offensive. Which to me, I'm like, well, if you had a thought or an inkling of anything, you quite literally could have just texted me and just asked that. And I think I cleared this up with another young lady in my comment section where I said, had he asked me over text, it would have been less jarring. But to have me in a car with him and then ask me, if I was an actual woman, I would have told him to take me home, period. That's it. Now, I have no ill will towards this gentleman. I'm not making this to be like, he's wrong and he blah, 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 blah. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying, y'all. The point is, communication is key. If you are unsure about anything, someone you're seeing, someone you're dating, and you want to ask questions, as difficult as they may be, it's important to have those conversations ahead of time. It saves you embarrassment, and it also saves embarrassment or fear for the other person on the other side. You know what I mean? And to you homophobic fucks out here in the world, let me tell y'all something. The girls who are like, oh my God, now they want the straights to want them too, and blah, 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 blah. Pause, babe. A lot of y'all will be surprised that your straight counterparts and your men do want us femme gays. They do want the trans girls. They do want the dolls. Like, let's be fucking for real. But I don't know, y'all. I, again, did not expect all this discourse and people just having all these opinions. But I'm just wanted to clear some things up for everybody. That way that we are all aligned. We are all in tune. And yeah, we're all on one accord now, okay? And for the people who are like, I'm so glad that you're safe and it could have been much worse, I agree. Thank y'all so much for the love and the support. Like I said, there was like a split second where I was a little scared because I was like, why are we pulling the car over? However, he was a gentleman. He was kind. He was nice. He brought me back home. And that's the most respectful thing that he could have done. I'm not saying that that was the part that was wrong. That wasn't the part that was wrong. To me, the part in all of this that was wrong was that you had an inkling a few days ago. You could have cleared that up ahead of time. It could have saved us all of this weirdness, awkwardness, me spending time to get ready, and you having to drive all the way over here to waste gas to like come get me, and then preparing to take me out to dinner. So that's it. That's all. Okay, I hope everybody got it all cleared up. If y'all have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to get in the comment section if you'd like. But yeah, I just thought that I would get that off my chest. Also, good morning. Happy Friday.
You know, isn't it ironic how he mentions how communication is key, but was unwilling to start this very important communication about his sexuality and sexual preferences? And while it is understandable not to expect biological men and women to reintroduce themselves as men and women, when you exist as a person whose sexuality is on the spectrum or part of the LGBTQ community, I believe you owe a person that information if you are trying to date them, especially when you are a man who looks so feminine and gives off feminine energy. It will be very easy to confuse you for a woman, especially in a setting like a club where you guys are drinking and a bit tipsy. It is very easy to do that. So the lack of accountability of this man is amusing, and he's so tone deaf, even in the face of people telling him he is wrong. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Who do you think should have brought up this conversation about sexuality, Donnie or the straight man who thought he had fallen for a flat-chested woman? Thank you so much for watching Spill the Tea, and I'll see you in the next one.